Hey everybody, happy Sunday of September, the last week before it becomes Halloween. What do we got going on today, people? Well, I got some updates, I want to show you some stuff, and that's where we're going to get growing. So let's start off with what's growing in the nursery. Well, our arugula from that video, I don't know if you guys remember that, the ones who've watched it. This is what we got going on for the arugula right now. Here's our carrots. All of our carrots have sprouted, which is fabulous, which is going to be really awesome. So all of them have sprouted. I think they sprouted on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Lettuce is doing good in here. The catnip didn't take off, and the romaine is doing very good as well. So anyway, that's that. So today, as I try to shut a door and not fall over, we have tomatoes, a bunch of tomatoes that we got to harvest. I'm going to show you guys that. And then I got some basil and stuff I'm going to be bringing in out of one of the beds that's done. So I'm going to bring that in so I can start overwintering it. And then I'm going to show you how you can overwinter your tomato plant. Wow. You can overwinter your tomato plants from cuttings. And it saves so much time on regrowing them. So if you have plants that you want that just seem like they're growing great and you want them next year like I do, without going through tons and tons of seeds, well, this is how you do it. So first thing we're going to start off with right now is the harvesting, just like I do about every Sunday. I don't do it every Sunday, but I got to take a look at some of the stuff that's like super ripe and then just bring it in. I try to only get stuff once a day, but there is definitely some ripies in here. Now you could harvest tomatoes. You can go to a tomato plant. You could wait a couple weeks and then harvest from it. Did you know that jalapenos, when they're ripe, they actually turn red? It takes a while, but they do actually eventually will turn red. What's going on over here with these guys? Usually, from what I've been hearing for the tomato plants, you want to wait until basically they are at the stage of they're dying off before you start taking anything from them, like clippings wise. But I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to ignore that. So here's another yellow plum tomato that I have over here, and I forgot this was a yellow plum on this side. That's why next year the tagging system is going to be basically right here, so that I don't have to play what is what. I could just look right down the line. So yeah, those ones still have a little ways to go. So we migrate into here. Our watermelon still doing good, so I'm really happy with that. Gotta freaking snip my way through. Oh yeah! Almost sounded like that. Well, you guys can figure that one out. Oh yeah! Oh Jesus! Come here. Is that gonna be 2 for 2? No chance in hell. That's why I was never on the basketball team. I'm just too damn short. Oh yeah, I'm getting better now. I know there's some yellows. Yeah, here we go. So yellow plum landed on the ground. Snip this one off up here. I think this is just, oh, yeah. Actually, it's so ripe, they're actually just falling right off, so that works perfect. Still on my sweatshirt, it's easier than tossing. Here's another Cherokee tomato. Get that guy. Look at the size of this sucker. Nice, right? And then we got one back here. Just like that. Toss that in the sweatshirt as well. Hey, Cherokee people. Alright. Then we got our last plant over here. There's a tomato in there. There's another nice big tomato. Tomato. Concrete jungle, wet dream of tomatoes. I know, I was gonna do that sooner or later. Yeah. Imagine saying something stupid online and you become famous from it. That's how the world is, man. That's why I'll never be famous. Alright, I threw a tomato over here and it disappeared. Alright, I'm like, I knew I threw a fucking tomato over here. I'm like, the fuck? Alright, not bad harvest, huh, people? Early morning harvest. So we got, the problem is that these I planted from seed. Everything's planted from seed, but these I know that I planted from seed are Cherokee purple. These are yellow plum as well. These I think are the cherry tomatoes, but the problem is that these and these both came from store-bought tomatoes, so I don't know what variety they are, but I do know for a fact that these are the yellow plums and these are the Cherokee purples, because those I planted from seed. These I planted from tomato slices. Still a seed, but they're from a slice. So I'm going to take this, now we're done with that, and we're going to just take it out of the area, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the tomato propagating. It's two different terminologies. One, I'm trying to make you vote a certain way, and the other one, I'm trying to make it grow another way, or trying to continue the growing harvest season. Nevertheless, so first things first, and I'm in the description below, I'm actually going to throw a link in there for the guy that I watched on how to do this. So in case anybody has any further questions or they want to see what happens further down the line, you could watch it there. I'm not going to shoot a whole video of it because this whole process is going to take probably like 5 to 6 months. So I'm just showing you the beginning part of it, and then a few months down the line I'll show you another video, and then a few months down the line we'll show you another video on the progress of the overwintering tomatoes. So one of the things he was talking about is you want to look for a tomato branch. So okay, so remember back in the early days of planting, I know we're gonna discuss a lot of things here, okay? In the early days of planting, when you're just starting to learn how to plant, and you're watching everybody on YouTube and they're telling you like, oh no, if you have the sucker, you gotta cut them off. Oh, if your plants are on the ground, you gotta cut them off. Well, there's so much falseness out there that it's really disgusting, and I'm trying to help people out, because as I'm learning, the amount of learning from farmers that I actually deal with on a daily basis versus the internet farmers, there's so much wrong information on YouTube, it's disgusting. So the first thing off with tomato plants that I've learned from farmers who do it commercially for selling at supermarkets and farm stands is they start them indoors on January 1st, on New Year's Day. They move them outside around like April, May, once the temperatures warm up, and they never touch them ever again. They don't trim them, they don't get rid of all the dead, they don't get rid of anything on the ground, nothing. And actually, one of the farmers I deal with has the tomato trellises like I do, with the string running up to a top bar, running all the way down through his greenhouse. And his setup just looks like mine, except he has probably like 5,000 to 6,000 tomato plants, and only grows what the mainstream is, because most supermarkets that you go to, you're never going to see a yellow plum tomato. People are going to think it's like, you know, something wrong with it. So anyway, so one of the first few things that people tell you that's wrong online is you got to get rid of the sucker. So this is what's known as a sucker. So you have the main stem that runs up here. You have a branch that starts to branch, and then you have a piece that comes out of this little crack here, sometimes known as the armpit. It's known as a sucker. A sucker is another branch that's branching off, that's growing, and it's going to grow a whole big branch, and that branch will come off here with a cluster of 6, and they have multiple clusters of 6 on there. And basically a tomato plant, it just constantly, once it branches off, it makes another sucker, and then another sucker, another sucker. So with that being said, the sucker that's on this one that I wanted to cut has tomatoes on it, so obviously I'm not touching it. So what I'm looking for right now is a sucker that I can actually go and grab on this plant. Now the good thing is though, is I actually have 2 of these plants, so I don't have to worry about actually only trying to get them from that yellow tomato, but I want to grow at least like 2 or 3 of these plants next season. Now I don't have any issues with starting them from seed. I just want to kind of amplify it by growing them in multiple sections. Now what's cool is actually, once the plant's growing in the winter inside, I can just take cuttings from that plant that's growing inside and then grow more tomato plants from those cuttings, if you follow my drift. So I don't really need to have 8 million. I'm looking for like the other yellow plum. That's why I look like I'm lost over here. Because I am fucking not seeing it. Oh, here it is. I mean the one that's all green? Okay. I'm trying to find this sucker here. So like you could see this yellow plum for an example. I know I was going to transition here, but see how there's 2 plants coming out of it? That's the other thing too. A lot of people online will tell you that when one plant comes up and another plant comes up, you kill the other one and you save one. Well, I kept both of them together growing, and I've had a double harvest in one spot, and it hasn't caused any issues at all. So yet again, more you know, online lies and BS that you really want to look out for. And it's sad too, because it's like, you know, a lot of people go to YouTube like myself to go find something out, to learn something, and you're running into people who are just full of like lies and bullshit. And that's why I make these videos, to show you like, hey, you can grow 2 of them, you can grow 3 of them in one spot. But meanwhile, other YouTubers will say like, oh, you got to thin them out, you got to kill your plants. No, you have 2 options, okay? The way I do it, you either plant them together, or when they're young, you can actually break them apart, you know, break the soil around them, and then you could separate them. Why thin them out? And then what's funny is they'll thin them out by cutting them, and then they'll plant more seeds of that plant. Not the smartest. They don't realize how stupid they are. You know, we're doing this to not just be healthier, but also save money. I mean, I've saved so much money this year because on produce alone, if I was to buy everything that I've harvested this year, I'm probably looking at like over $400. And there is still more to come. So anyway, back to trying to trying to find a tomato section here. It's tough with this guy here because there's like so much branching off, and you kind of want them a little longer, so I'm probably gonna have to go for some short ones here. See, like here's like the sucker branching off, and I don't really want to cut it right now because it is growing. You know, I don't want to, you know, because when you trim the plant, you know, you're basically slowing it down. They are getting close to the end of their season, so I don't really want to slow them down at all. That one's really producing good, so I'm going to go back to the other one. My okra, look at my okra. My okra has started taking off, which is great. Like these guys are all good too, but they're all the store-bought tomatoes, which isn't you know, it isn't a bad thing. You know, I'm going to take some cuttings from those guys too, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm going to bite the bullet on it, and I'm just going to take cutting from here, like that. Okay. And I'll take one from another section down below. So that's going to be for my yellow plum. Now, the reasoning for the multiple trays, I'm going to put you guys down here, is because I want to know what is what. So I'm going to take these leaves, put them to the side. I'm just going to write yellow plum on them. And just like that, I wrote yellow. I know it's a yellow plum. I'm putting it on those leaves. Taking my aluminum can, putting it on top of it. And then I'm going to go grab some more. And just keep going in that way. But basically, I'm not going to do it the rest of them because this is extremely early doing this. Basically, when you want to really do this is in November. Not the end of September. But I am going to do it with these yellow ones for an experiment to show you if that does work as well. Now, one of the things about tomatoes, if you don't know it, is that tomatoes are the #1 plant that's the easiest to grow, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Well, cucumbers and peppers need cucumbers, zucchinis, squashes, I think even peppers. Fighting with my gate. They need to be pollinated. So there's male and female flowers, right? So if on a cucumber the male has nothing behind the flower, but the female has a big sac behind it. So let's see if I can find one. So like here's this one here. So if you look, if I can get the camera to see it, kind of see how like below this flower, it's hard to tell, there's really like nothing there. That is a male flower. Let's see. It's hard to try to get them because they're so clustered right now. Well, those are females, if I'm not mistaken. The female has like, it's probably because most of the males have fallen off already. It's a female. Basically, the female has like a sac at the back of it, back of the flower, and the male flower doesn't. And the only way to get the pollen from the male flower to the female flower is basically insects. Either with bees or with our friendly ant friends, which ironically I have ants that will go from the flowers to the other flowers. So it's kind of funny, like I'm not just having, speaking of bee, hey buddy, probably had a little too much pollen last night, fell asleep in the garden. Where's I going with this? You gotta basically, you know, you can't grow cucumbers inside or zucchini, or you could, it's just gonna be a lot more work. So why is tomatoes a lot easier? Well, tomatoes are self-pollinating. So they don't need anything out there to pollinate them. You don't have to, you know, play with them with Q-tips like you have to do with some plants. You could literally just take your tomatoes, and as long as they got water and sun, they'll freaking grow. So we're gonna go inside. I'm gonna show you this step, and then like I said, you know, in a few months you'll see how those tomatoes are going. This is something you want to do in November when the plants are basically done for the season. Not now, but I wanted to just grab a couple cuttings and then just show you the steps to it. All right. Stick you guys here. Stick in my usual spot here. Next to the aluminum foil. Okay. Alright, so I got our cuttings. Okay. So I got so much crap everywhere in my kitchen here. So take our harvest and put our harvest. Nothing gets cleaned at all. It literally goes from the garden to the pan. You don't want to clean anything. Everything has its natural oils. and protections on it. So your best thing to do is just literally pick it, put it someplace in your kitchen, away from any sunlight, away from the ovens, away from heat. Preferably a nice spot in your kitchen, and then that's it. Alright, now, the next part of this excitement. If you have water that is subpar in your area, then this is when you want to make sure you use bottled water or filtered water for this. Anything else is not going to work out. Now, of course, we didn't get the long enough cuttings that I wanted to, but it's fine. We're starting 2 months early, so it's not the end of the world. This is like, yet again, this is something you want to do in November, not in the end of September, where the plants are still trying to grow. Now, because I staggered the growing of my plants, not intentionally, it was just this whole summer I've been experimenting on how to grow stuff better, more efficiently, in the right way. Which is why now a lot of my videos I'm throwing out there to tell people, like, hey, stop doing this. Because I was told to do this, that, and the other. I didn't do it, and my success is 1,000 times better than what it was if I followed them. So, nevertheless. So, anyway, so the one guy I was looking at, he said you want to basically trim up the stem, and you want to keep a few of the leaves on top. So, basically, I'm just going to go along. And you want to put this in a spot that gets sunlight. So actually what I ordered just now before I started this video is plant shelf that suction cups itself to the window. So the window in my nursery is a nice big window, and I have the tropicals below it. And there's no other shelving around it. So what I'm going to do is I got these suction cup shelves I'm going to stick on the glass, where I'm going to stick like the tomatoes and the basil and stuff, so I could use that full window as well. Use all the space that I have, which goes good for anybody else that's growing stuff in a very small confined space, and you're like, I don't really have the room. That bedroom is small, and you saw the way that it's laid out. So now we got it all nice, cleaned and trimmed. I know this looks literally like a pot plant right now at this point. A little pot leaf. That's funny. You saw me pick it from the tomato. Alright. Shut up, stomach. Here we go. So I got 2 of them in there. Now I'm going to take some bottled water because I don't really... I mean, we use obviously our tap water on it, but I figured try to get the most out of it. So I've got them sitting in water. Today is... I think it's... Is it still September, or has it turned into October? No, it's September, like what, 29? 29. September 29th, 2024. We got our little yellow. So let's grab you guys. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put you for now until we get that shelf in there on the glass. So being that, like I said, we have a nice open window. Nice big window, not open window, but we have like a nice big window here. I really want to use it. And we have the top and the bottom of the glass too, which is great. So that's definitely a plus for that. So being like they said, you know, you want to put them in like a spot where there's sunlight. They're not going to get it at the moment, so I'm just going to stick them here, and that's really about it. The sunflower, obviously I brought it in. All these inside is the seeds, so if you just carefully rub your fingers down it, it would stop rolling around on me. If you see it, because I'm like just trying to get it to dry out some more, you could see all those seeds that are sitting in there. And because this sunflower grew really good this year, and because I didn't have it set up the right way, if I had it positioned the right way, it wouldn't have had the issue that it did. So because it grew very good, I'm going to use its seeds, because its seeds are fresh, to grow sunflowers next year. And look how much sunflower seeds are in one head. So if you're trying to grow sunflowers, because you're questioning on, well, should I grow sunflowers next season for my garden? Should I grow sunflowers next season and sell them to people? Yes, you should. Yes, you should. And here's how. So one plant, right? Talk about, you know, becoming financially stable in life. One sunflower plant will cost you about, let's say, worst case scenario with the cost of watering. Let's say one sunflower plant costs you $1. You see all those seeds in there? That's tons and tons, thousands possibly, thousands of seeds. So that $1 plant gives you 1,000 seeds. And if you're selling your sunflower cuttings, let's say for $2 for 4, you know, you're making a killing right there. So anyway, and then also too is I took off when I had cut it, I had cut the stem of it, right? The stem, as it dries out, it gets harder and harder and harder to the point of where becomes a stick. Which is great because now I'm going to be using that as a stake to help stake up my, what is this, my lemon, right? My lime. Oh, it is my lemon. This is the lemon, that's the lime. So the lemon, as it's getting bigger, I want to put a bigger stake on it. So, and obviously my banana is doing pretty good because I got new growth right here. And I've only been watering them when they need it. So I've been basically watering once a week because they are still very moist. So I don't want to overwater them. And the temperature that's in here is staying just outside of 80. And that's really good. And this small room that we have in here, the small bedroom, doesn't get a lot of airflow in here, surprisingly enough. It's a very small room, and ever since I resealed the window last year, there's literally like no draft in here, and we don't run the heat. So our house stays just naturally warm for a long time. Like I said, like this is like we're just outside of 80 degrees, and we don't have any heat on. We have oil burner heat, but I actually shut my system off for like half the year, and we only turn it on when we need hot water. That's it. After that, it stays off. So this is just 70 degrees in here in September, and meanwhile outside it's like 61. So this is why I niched this room perfectly. This was a spare room in my house, and I'm like, I don't have kids. I don't need it. Probably will never have kids, nor do I care. And that is perfect for growing and sustaining my future. And I got all these pods obviously for what we're probably going to be starting off in October. Now, being these guys are sitting here for now, I can even just turn on the power to this main unit here. Now, I don't need this on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the light on here. Okay. Give those guys some light, and then this big boy, I'm just going to unplug him. I don't need that running for no reason. That's it. Yeah, and this shelf only sits here obviously temporarily until these guys go back outside, and then that shelf goes back over to there. Unless my fumigation in here. We had some stinky soil a while ago, so that's what this is for, is to kind of, let's see what setting it's on. Yeah, we had some really funky soil smell in here. Alright everybody, that's going to be it for today for Mike over here at Growtopia. I'm going to do some more research looking at when to bring in basil and stuff, but I hope you guys got something out of it. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. Don't listen to all the BS on the internet as people try to steer you in different directions. Try to take what I'm doing and put it into the way you're doing stuff. And if you don't believe me, then take a look at the results, because the results don't lie. People on the internet do. So I hope you guys don't make the same mistakes that I did in the beginning of this season. Now that I've learned that there's so much BS out there on the internet that it's stupid. Why people would just do stupid shit. So, no idea. No idea. You can trim your plants and have a moderate harvest and possible diseases and slow growing. Or you can not trim your plants and you have a harvest that is insane. So, I've been enjoying it. Anyway, guys, we will see what happens in the next video. Might be in a couple weeks, a couple days for what I'm going to start growing in October. The seeding of stuff that I have on tap. I'm going to take these potatoes I decided not to eye out, and I'm going to cut them up and throw them into the bucket. Probably when I start bringing in some basil, bringing in some plants, doing some of the overwintering. Bunch of videos that are coming, so definitely stay tuned, subscribe so you can know when a new video drops, and everybody have a great, wonderful rest of their weekend. Later.